actually getting a water filtration system for the house, but you don't have to do like the whole house, big, crazy, expensive thing. Start with your refrigerator. Most refrigerators have a water filter built inside. They're very cost-effective, and you only replace them every 6 months or so. What we found, actually, in that same survey is that 4 out of 5 Americans actually think filtered tap water tastes just as good as bottled water, and it absolutely does.
I agree. I agree 100%.
So if we can just, most bottled water is glorified tap water anyways. So, I just read something the other day that was like, oh, goodness. Well, so a lot of it is your own perception of what it is that you're drinking. But if you can have an actual filter on it and know that that water is clean and that it tastes good, we're not buying all that extra plastic. We also have an unlimited supply of it. And I like to have good ice to drink water on top of. That's what I do. I have a big, massive, 40-ounce cup that I keep on my desk. I fill it with good of that, little cubelet ice that just makes everything taste better. Fill it up with water, and I drink a lot more water, and I can just do it right straight out of the tap.
Smart. I like that. Okay, so if you just tuned in, I'm talking to HGTV personalities Chip and Pauli Wade, updating your light bulbs.
That's another thing that folks don't even realize makes a difference in your home wellness. And it's more about light temperature than anything else. It's not just about getting energy-efficient light bulbs. So our bodies are actually very, very responsive to light and light temperature. So it's proven that kind of later in the evening, if we have a warmer light, like more of a golden light rather than that cool blue light that's a little bit dimmer, it actually puts our bodies in a state that gets us ready for a more restful sleep. So, again, that's an easy thing that we can do. Now, earlier in the day, our bodies actually respond more to cool light with higher intensity. Oh. So that makes us more alert. It makes us more conversational. All these types of things also improve relationships, right? So the tip here is that there's technology out there where you can buy one light bulb that you can actually change temperatures throughout the day, and make settings to where you can just set it one time and say, like, hey, at 8 p.m., the light changes to this color temperature.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and it's awesome, and then you don't have to deal with it. But, these are little things, though, that actually do have impact on our well-being.
I can see that. So which ones do you recommend?
There's all kinds of different ones. So in fact, there's so many brands. Most brands have a version of this, so it doesn't even take that long to look to find them. A lot of it is about the lighting control, right? So pick the one that has the interface that you like. In fact, you may have an app that already controls a brand. So what I recommend is more so than the brand, find one that is easy to control from an app maybe that you already are using to just eliminate having excess apps and controls.
Times have changed, haven't they?
They have, but in a good way when we know what's important to look for and what to implement.
And what about clutter?
Clutter, of course. Well, to each his own on that. I'm a neat freak, more so than my wife.
I heard that.
But, I like having less stuff to just hold dirt and debris. Similar kind of the first tip we shared with you, the less stuff that you have, the easier it is to clean. So there is some merit to...
And it feels good to get rid of all that stuff.
I agree. I'm in your camp. I
hold on to things too, but when I get rid of things, I'm like, wow, that feels really good.
Again, we live in a very, prosperous time, but for me, if I'm not using something... again, we read all these things about things bringing you joy and all that type of stuff. Like, everybody has their own perspective on all of this. But for me, it's like if I haven't touched it or utilized it in about 6 months, it actually is better for me to either give it away or get rid of it, even if I have to engage with it again later.
Yeah.
The amount of stress to store it, to clutter it, and to hoard it, honestly, is, I think, more of an offset than just cleansing yourself from it and then going back and re-engaging it. If we think that we can't, cycle things through, I think that this is kind of a statement of like the compromise of having a lot, and prosperity. That's kind of like the flip side to it.
But that's the purpose behind home wellness, is making those choices up front that set you up for success. So whether it's whatever method you pick, a one in, one out, or however you purge, or whatever you're doing to make sure that your systems are updated, it's making those decisions up front and then kind of coasting from there.
And if you don't want to do it yourself, make your kids do it first.
Right, exactly. Get those shoes off before you walk in the house. HGTV personalities Chip and Pauli Wade, thank you so much for joining us on secondnature.com. They can go get more information. This is all about home wellness. Thank you for bringing us those great tips.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks you too.
Thanks for joining me on this episode of What's Up with Wendy. If you love this episode, head over to iTunes or your favorite platform to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Please also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at What's Up with Wendy. You can learn more about my podcast on my website, whatsupwithwendy.com. Until next time, this is Wendy Loie Sloan. Keep being kind.